So it begins. I'm Dan.
I'm Nick.
Oh, ooh, let me see there. There you go.
And we are still
Still,
going strong.
yeah, we're surviving.
Question mark?
Yeah,
We're still going strong as the unpanderers.
panders. Yep. I had to fiddle with the title screen because I'm
Fiddle,
not.
fiddle, fiddle. Fiddle,
Yeah,
diddle.
when you
Really
click
quick.
it, it screws everything up.
Uh-huh.
So I have to figure out how it doesn't screw everything up and then do that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I agree.
Yeah, it's tough.
What would
It's
you
tough.
say we do here?
It's a bunch of bullshit. We just go back and forth, back and forth, over and
This
over
guy's
again.
falling apart. He's just falling apart over here. He's never been live, folks.
Oh,
Welcome to the unpanderers. We're unforgiving,
yeah,
unrelenting, uncaring. Just
yeah,
bunch of unfers is what we are.
yeah. So you need an opener. Need some help?
Oh, carry that with you?
Yeah.
Good on you. No, I'm a man. Oh
You're not gonna make it.
man.
Uh,
I gotta come up for air on that one. All right, we're gonna do the shirt wrap trick here. It's definitely
yep,
gonna work.
yep.
Ooh.
Need it. Oh, you did it. Is it twist off? There you
It
go.
was. This is the toughest twist off I've ever had to deal with.
Huh.
Just getting myself ready for tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. Those small bottles, the bigger hands, I think it's a deficit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could use a tinier
Chemistry, doing a
hand.
little chemistry right here. A president's hands would probably work wonderfully.
Yeah. If you had one big hand and one small hand, how would you grip with the big and then twist with the small, or reverse it?
That's a grip. That's a strong gripping hand, that big
Okay.
boy. The little guy just holds it in place. The big guy has more surface area to grip while grabbing.
Gripping and grabbing.
Well, folks, we are the Unpanners, and that's what we do.
Yeah. We
Right? We discuss what's going on in the world around you, around me, around somewhere.
all of us.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah. And then
I like it.
we go off on tangents and waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful because the whole world is wasting time right now. All of us together.
Kind of is. Whew. I did want to go into a quote because you brought us there, but I have to look it up.
Wow. I don't think we ever had a quote before.
Well, it has to do with a new show I'm watching. We could discuss it if you want.
Oh,
I got into Altered Carbon,
oh yeah.
had a few drinks, got mad at my significant other, went to bed early and didn't really go to bed, so stayed up and watched some Altered Carbon.
Were you watching on your phone underneath the covers as you slept next to her? Slept.
Nice. I used the old couch maneuver, so I was king of the living room.
Oh yeah. This. I'm gonna get personal here a little for a second.
Oh, go ahead.
So
Go ahead,
like
ask me.
whenever I sleep apart, I like purposely like there's another place like I have bed, couch, I have options. But she can never stay the whole night. She always breaks down sometime around 3 or 4 a.m. and goes, I can't do this. I can't. So like, I don't know if you have the same thing or does she just completely ignore you and
No, I
still
think
hate
she
you the next
sleeps
day?
better. She sleeps much better. She's like sprawled out over the whole bed. It's like can't win that one. But at the same time, I did get to watch 2 episodes of Altered Carbon last night. So I saw the first 2 about 2 weeks ago. Love the show. How would you summarize it real quick for anyone who doesn't know?
I see.
Sci-fi,
Yeah.
Blade Runner-esque future.
Yep.
The guy is waking up. He's an envoy, which is like a super hunter technical guy from the year 2040, which is our future, but this is like the year
Yeah.
2300 or something. So it's future.
Yep.
They thaw him out, and in this future, all our consciousness is stored in stacks.
Yep.
Like
Digital
fit around
download.
this-
Alien
So
technology.
your body's just a sleeve. You can change bodies. You can change sleeves. As long
You
as
can
that
clone
little
yourself.
stack stays.
Upload, download.
Yes, you can. All sorts of fun things. And that allows for, ironically enough, the uber rich. People who have amassed enough money to have like billions upon billions upon billions because they've been
Yeah.
alive for hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's my goal, to have enough money so when they create this technology that I become those uber rich.
And keep getting more money.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Like
Interesting.
Highlander.
I can't wait to die. Anyway.
to dissolve all
As
your
an-
debt.
as an aside, they brought back. There's a group of people who are old school. They don't believe in bringing back the soul. If someone, the big moral underpinning, there's a big moral thing underneath that all the old school people, like
Underpinning.
the
Yeah, I guess so.
sure, it could be underpinning.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
They all
religious
say
backing thing.
right, and they all say, let's say your mother or your daughter was killed in a violent crime, and they have no leads. They want to bring her back to life so that she can point out who did it, give us hints, give us all this.
Mm-hmm.
But these families are adamant. They're like, I don't want my grandmama, I don't want my daughter coming back in some other body, someone else's body, just so
Yeah.
you can, find out her killer. Like, let her rest.
I
Let
love
the
how
dead be dead.
yeah they hit that like right in the beginning. They do a lot
They
of
do.
tie-ins and like he's like coming off of this. I guess it's a plane or something, and there's like an elderly body that's supposed to be like
Oh yeah.
the body of a child that they like
Mhm.
reincarnated, and the parents
Yeah,
are like and they're
This
like
isn't our daughter.
yeah, you get what you get.
They're like, you don't get to pick your body. This is the one we had available for state.
Yeah, free
Thank you
sleep
for
program.
signing up. Yeah, yeah. But what I thought was really awesome, really stuck with me, because I sometimes think these things are corny, but it was the grandmother of the
Mhm.
cop, female cop,
Coming back as
and it's
the bruiser
as
guy.
as the biker. She
Yeah.
comes back in like a bruiser biker fat guy's body, and she's the grandma. So like they're Spanish descent, and she's like cooking all these meals and helping out. Oh la la! And, it's this big
Yeah.
biker guy making
Very
all these
feminine,
funny
yeah.
jokes. It's very funny, but when they're done, because it's the Day of the Dead, that's why they brought her back.
Yep.
They needed to celebrate with her,
Hmm.
and she said, "Just I had a great time. But can you promise me never to bring me back?" And I thought, well, that's interesting commentary. And she said, quote unquote, this: "No matter how long you live, you never finish. You have to learn to let the world continue, accept that death is part of life." Damn, that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
always
because
gonna
you'll
struggle.
never finish. I mean, you'll never finish. What in life? What is there to finish? Like, if you live for a billion years, would you be like, "Well, I'm done"? You'd never be done, would you? You'd want to keep living. Your conscience wants to keep going. There's never a point where you're like, conscience is good. I did it, boys. Pack
Yeah.
me in a freezer.
And in that scene, she could have chosen to never come back again too. She could have blown out her stack and destroyed it so that she never.
True. Yeah,
So-
she didn't make the decision. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's like
Stuck
you're.
with me.
Yeah.
Can't wait till I'm dead, but that's fine.
Yeah. What, you're about midway through? Has anything started to unravel
earlier-
yet?
Earlier in my life, I was disillusioned, angsty teenager. I figured there's no way I'm making it past 40.
Hmm.
Now I'm like, that's ridiculous. Now I'm like, there's no way I'm making it past 59. I don't know, 62.
Yeah. Get that social security check and then pass away.
I won't even get the check. I'm gonna try and hold out till 65 or whatever. I still have to.
There's no way you're. So you can pick social security at what? 62, 65, and 70?
Yeah. If
Yeah,
wait.
you get more if you wait. So you're going to be the one that waits? You're not going to
And
be the one
dies.
that waits.
Yes, and I'm gonna die.
You're
Or
gonna
it's gonna be moved the year that I decide to move. Take it. I'll be done my student loans by then. That's the good news.
You can go back to school. You can get one of those like grandparent loans or whatever they call them.
They do like a 2020 special on me. This old man went back to learn. He bettered himself with a new degree, English, but in a new concentration, Shakespeare.
He decided to relive life
Yeah,
later in
what a
life.
fool. I don't know. That's where I'm going with that.
So did you get? What's the main thing that you got to in Altered Carbon? Like, what was the big event?
The mind torture. I think that's the fourth
Yeah.
episode. They were torturing him in his brain. Like, he really felt pain.
Yeah.
He really felt like he was drowning. He really felt all these things. And that's how they try and get you to talk, because they mentally break you.
Mm-hmm.
But he had trained back when he was an envoy on how exactly to deal with this sort of punishment.
Yeah, Matrix style.
That's right. They're putting it's a little bit like the Matrix.
Yeah.
He realizes he's in a simulation, and he turns it on its head. He's the one, Neo.
Yeah.
And they're putting those snake spider things into his body, and he just like gets up off of the table. It's badass. You gotta
It's
check
pretty
it
sweet.
out. Highly recommend it.
And it like Netflix is getting a better budget as a Netflix thing.
Mhm.
So they're getting stuff that looks realistic enough for you to be into it. And they're not like throwing their weight around with like big name actors most of the time.
Right.
So it's like it's still good even though they're they're picking the actors who can actually act and don't cost
Mm-hmm.
a lot. That one guy though, he was in what was it?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was in
yeah, I know.
RoboCop and
Yes.
that other one, the like Seattle-based thriller with a cop. It's like a cop story. They're going against the casino. I guess you never saw it. I forget what it was. I think that was also a Netflix thing though.
Who's the older black guy who's helping him now? I couldn't remember his name. He's from something. I've seen him. You
It's
remember
always
his daughter? Some, yeah, yeah,
yeah. They pick those guys though. Like if
yeah,
you
yeah.
really look
Well,
at their
right,
history,
right,
they're like
right.
actually like legitimate
It's like
actors.
a Shakespearean actor. He's like Broadway fluent and everything, but I know him from like Who's the Boss? He's the bad cop or something that arrested Danny, or I don't know. I'm making
Yeah.
something up. But, like, he has like the stupidest role, and I remember him for that. It's like, no, he was a classically trained Shakespearean actor, and it's like, yeah, the dad from that movie, The Pacifier. He slips on a banana peel. Hmm?
No, I'm just trying to
His-
get my mind around something here. I'll talk about it later though. It'll come up later.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! All right, you want to move on? Let's move on.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Huh.
How can
Any-
you do that tongue twister again?
Tongue twister. What was it?
The one you just said.
It wasn't preoccupied no, perplexed porcupine? No, it was something.
Preoccupied porcupine. Preoccupied porcupine. Oof.
Oh, yeah, see, there you go.
Preoccupied
good warm-up.
porcupine.
Hmm.
We try and do a lot of warm-ups here. We're like professionals. We dig our feet in deep, and we just want to.
Yeah, we wanna.
The warm.
Yep.
I think so.
Do you have any smirk or smiles? You got?
Big one. Big one.
Oh yeah.
I went shopping today. Monday's my grocery day.
Oh.
So,
You have
I
a
go,
list
I
on your
bet-
hand.
nah, I'm the grocery aisle people's wet dream. I just go in with an open mind and an open heart. And I buy whatever the hell looks good. Some people like they go down certain aisles. They go in a certain way.
They have a pattern.
Me, no. I let the grocery store come to me.
You're squeezing the grapefruits and just like.
And someone's like,
Mm.
"Sir, do you know which one's the good one?" And I'm like, "Not really. I don't even know if I'm getting a grapefruit. Just checking it out, man."
Does he direct you to the cheaper grapefruits and you go, no.
I don't know, man. This
I'll
ain't
take
right.
that one. On that one, I'll keep taking them.
What So I go with my son, and I just go. I go up and down every aisle. If I need something, cool. If I need 100 things, cool. I just find stuff that I'm used to seeing in our house, or that we will need or might need, and all that. And I decided it's burger season. Literally,
Oh.
it's finally burger season.
I had a burger.
It was snowing. It was like 30 degrees. We got like 4 inches of snow. Another nor'easter. We got all this. I'm done with it.
Mm,
The grill's been sitting there for like 6 months, just 5
covered.
months, whatever it is. It needs to
You
grill.
got to take the
I
car
need-
scraper to get the ice off of the grill.
Now, sometimes we buy, sometimes we'll make burgers, like from scratch with our own
Mhm.
stuff.
Oh yeah,
They're good ones. But then we buy frozen ones. I buy.
like Bubba's.
I stopped Bubba's. I
Mm.
used to buy Bubba's.
They're
Just
expensive.
stopped. Oh, crap. I
Did you
forgot
get
the name
the
brand.
shrimp burger? Has that come out yet?
No. No. What? They're making a shrimp burger?
Yeah, it was on Shark Tank. The guy
Oh, it's
had
a
like
terrible idea.
yeah.
Surf and turf and one. It's frozen. Like you can buy it.
Yep.
No thanks. No thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
freaks
it's
me out.
Butterball or something, or Butterbean
Okay.
or Butterball.
But
They make frozen turkey burgers.
okay.
Love.
Turkey burger.
I actually like turkey burgers. It's
Huh.
not a health thing. I think they taste good.
Hmm.
A good one.
I like turkey dogs.
Okay, fair. I've never had one, but I would.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
I don't eat them anymore because they're not as good. They're not as tasty. And life is short.
It is. You're gonna be dead by 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of us will. I bought this burger. I was ready to roll. I brought it home, unpacked everything. I'm living my good life. I'm looking at the grill. I'm ready to go. And I realized I forgot the rolls.
Oh, you don't have any bread? Sliced
I
bread?
did. I didn't want to do white bread.
Oh, that is embarrassing.
Right? Especially for the first burgers.
You
of the
try to
year.
toast it to make it up to par, and it just gets soggy anyway.
Yeah, it's not gonna work with white bread. Especially it's like Stroman's, like the whitest white bread. Like
Mhm.
it's like that. I would never buy Stroman. It's too white, you know. So
Doesn't it have a picture of a white guy on it? I think it does.
yeah, it's the old white guy. He's like bacon. He's got the goofy hat. So I swallowed my pride. I had crappy grapes because my son picked them out. So I was gonna return the grapes. Like they were bad. Like they were actually all sour and chewed up and everything. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm getting like $3 back or whatever. So I brought them back and got rolls. Perfect. Brought them home. It was a little later than I wanted it to be. There's still a little bit of sun.
Hold on a second. When you return the grapes, what do you say to the person that's at the register? You say these grapes, they're just not good.
Well, I said they're all bad. I was like, look at them, they're squished. Like they're all squished.
Did you take one out and just like?
Nah, she was a cool lady.
She was
talking to herself before I got there. She didn't care. She was like, "Are you sure, hon?" And then she goes, "Damn, these were expensive grapes." And I was like, "It's your store." So I got the $4 back. It wasn't 3. She did say it. Like, whatever.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get back, dude. I had seasoned these burgers. I got special seasoning. I do it myself. I don't let anybody know. I can't let you know my little secrets. No,
olive oil.
Dude, I go nuts. Little olive oil, and then I find certain spices. I want to make like a chipotle type burgers seasoning. That's a good one. Sometimes I'm like more like garlic and Italian seasonings. Ooh.
We're talking McCormick here?
I do. A lot of McCormick going on. So I go, I check the stupid grill, make sure she's good, and she turns on, everything's fine. I always let her heat up for like 5 minutes or so, get a little burn off that old stuff, get ready. I came out. I had my flyer spatula. I had the burgers. There was still a tiny bit of sunlight. And I opened the grill, and the flame was out. And I said, no, you don't understand. No. And I looked, and it was out of gas. Propane. Gone.
You can't dump charcoal in there and just get it going?
No, it's not. It's a stupid Walmart gas grill. You can't just throw charcoal in.
If I had charcoal, I would have done it anyway.
That's a good point. I didn't have charcoal.
Chop down a
tree.
So
I drove to Ace Hardware and made them fill my propane tank right then. I got back half an hour later. It was dark as hell, cold as hell, and I cooked them burgers.
Nice.
I just finished about half an hour before this stupid ass podcast got there. But it was just like everything that went wrong did go wrong. But I guess I got it in the end, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot of work considering you had to bring your kid with you, right, the whole time?
Well, not the third time. Third trip was not the charm.
Okay, yeah.
People don't realize that's the biggest pain in the ass is getting them in the car seat.
Yeah, that takes...
So I started just letting them sit in the front. Save me some time. Yeah. Give him a little tip on driving. I don't put a seatbelt on because I heard that can hurt a kid.
Yeah, you keep them underneath the seat, right?
Yeah, I tell them to crawl on the floor this way. Oh, cop, get down, cop. So that's what we do.
Nice.
You smirking and smiling out there?
I see. This is a different category. It's not a smirk, or it's a little bit of a smirk, but not really. Smirk, smile, more of a cringe. So I had burgers over the weekend. There's a local place that makes really good burgers. Tad expensive, but it's a nice place. It's new. I'm not gonna name names, so I don't know the guy personally. I've just shook his hand and made friends with him. But
Is that like a name drop, a famous name drop without naming someone? I think that's pretty hilarious.
It could be anybody. I get friends with everybody, you know.
You could be. You did mention it though. Just saying.
So I'm waiting in line, and there's probably a guy with his mom who's about maybe a little younger than I am. He is, and he looks probably like he's well kempt. His beard is pretty well done. He's wearing clean clothes.
Mark that one down, folks. You got well kempt in today. I don't think anyone was expecting a well kempt.
Yeah,
Good.
I did. And he's wearing shorts. It's warm here. We could grill burgers and it's beautiful. And but he's wearing flip flops. And I was like, this guy kind of looks like a guy who could be my friend. Except we get down to the flip flops, and his toenails are like an inch long. And I go.
You can notice them while you're just standing around at a burger joint.
Yeah.
That's a no go. That's a no go for me, dog.
It's weird. I don't know how, like, the freaky part is that, like, you've got toenails that will, like, scratch and touch everything. Like, when you're putting on your pants, like, they touch the inside. And, like, that's one of the things that's just, like, up my spine. If I was living in the wild, I don't think I could. I'd have to, like, gnaw that sucker off myself. I couldn't let it grow.
I mean, it sounds weird. Maybe I'm weird. I do almost all my finger and toenail pruning, cleaning, whatever the word would be, clipping,
hygiene
with my other fingernails.
Huh? You don't ever clip them?
Once in a while.
How do you not? How?
I just do this all the time, like while I'm working on. But they get kind of long, and I just do that.
Huh?
And same with my toes. Like I'm like, they're kind of long. Let's pick them off. So yeah, I guess my girlfriend hates me.
Fun
Just
little
sitting
bits.
there on the table, just like ripping them off, throwing them around.
I do that for my
Well,
son though. Like his grow
oh,
out and they like are like
oh
little
yeah, because
flimsy baby
they're like
nails.
little baby. Yeah, you're like, boop.
Yeah.
Do you ever get one too far and he looks at you and you're like, act natural. That's nothing. Because I did that one time where I was like, his fingernails are so like faint. They're like baby fingernails. Well, not anymore, but when they were. And I like pulled it off and like way more pulled off, like to the point where I would have been cringing. But he didn't know what to do. He just looked at me and I was
He
like,
was like figuring it out.
yeah, like he didn't know. He's like, this feels bad. Did he screw up? Is this bad? And I was like, I didn't say anything and he didn't notice. So
We had a bad one where my wife was clipping nails for the first time, and then it caught the edge and made him bleed, and I was just like that's the first time my adrenaline just started pumping. Like when your child is like in pain, you just like have this
did you
response.
lift the car?
Yeah, I could have. Just like take the door jamb and just split it wide open. And then run outside and just like grow 3 times, turn green, and just start smashing houses.
Wouldn't that feel good? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
This guy.
I
How
think
did
it would.
we do that, folks?
No, I saw that guy's nails and I was just like,
Oh, the cringe. He's the
Yeah,
cringe.
yeah.
Sorry.
It's weird because I mean everything about him seemed like he was clean, normal until you get to the nails, and it's like I make really split decisions on people's like nail hygiene. Like I don't know if anyone else does that, but I can't.
I don't, but if I saw that, maybe you don't know until you're there.
Like really
Folks,
long.
you don't know. You could be talking to the nicest, normalest guy. You could be married to someone who's wearing shoes the whole time you know him, and then boom.
Wedding
over.
night, you slip off a sock and you're just like, oh, you slide the ring off and you're just like,
hold on.
Put it on that toenail.
Here's one they'll get. No, this is a nightmare. If you're under 18, please turn this off right now.
Yeah.
If you're a child, if you don't believe in whatever God we believe in, get off. Get off the feed. My son creeps into my room. He's terrified of his room. Like at 3 in the morning sometimes. I just feel these little footsteps. I try and ignore it. He climbs into the bed.
Yep.
He gets in bed, and then he falls asleep. And at that point, sometimes I want to put him back in his room. Most of the time, I'm like, who cares?
Does the dog sleep with you too?
No, he's got a crate. He can't because he'll lick incessantly until he licks a hole in whatever comforter is there.
That's gross, yeah.
Anyway, so my son, I don't know what it is. He has an urge to put his feet on me. And like, I'll be asleep and all of a sudden I feel like toenails on my stomach. And I look over and I give him a look like, I'll kill you, you son of a bitch. I look him dead in the eye, but he's asleep, smiling, and I'm like,
He's just like, all his toes are like on like that.
They're like doing this. And I'm like, I'm part gonna throw up. It's almost painful. Like his little toenails everywhere. I don't know if I told this in the other podcast. He snuck into bed one time. He's a restless sleeper. Thank God. I wouldn't have it any other way. And once in a while, he'll swing his arm or his leg, and it'll whack me or his mother, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm doing this, and I just grit my teeth and say, if I didn't know you, I would punch you in the face. And I felt this one time where a hand just whack, like it came from all the way over here and landed right on, smack on the bridge of my nose when I was asleep. So I do this thing where I turn to look at him like, because when you wake up, your first instinct is to kill.
You're like, yeah.
So I do this, and I hear something that made me go, oh my God. It was his mother going, ow! And he had hit both of us with both hands. And I didn't make a noise. She had no idea, but I was listening. I'm like, this son of a bitch. This son of a bitch. Like, I can feel the Al Pacino voice rising in me. You son of a bitch. I'm going to teach you a lesson. But anyway, I digress.
he was fully slapping both of you.
At the same time, like a double, like I feel like he was the Undertaker and he just went wham. This is my joint now. So it's the only time that's ever happened, but wanted to kill him.
Did you politely lift him out of your bed and put him back in his at that point, or were you just give up?
I think at that point I just shoved him over to her.
You relented.
Like as it's like you put a time bomb over on that side of the bed. I'm like, I'm on her. Because it's like 5 a.m. If it's a work day, I get up at 6:30.
You're already up,
what's
yeah.
And can you imagine if I drag him in there and he freaks out and he's like, I can't go to sleep or something. And I'm like, well, just sit here for an hour and do nothing. You know, I'm not. Nope.
You're a
Not gonna
hostage.
happen.
You're a hostage in your own house.
Yeah, nope, not gonna happen, kid.
Huh.
So that's what's going on. Everyone, have a kid. Have a kid. It's great. Have several.
Yeah. I don't know how that'll go, but corrections or clarifications or anything? We've been playing a lot of games. Played a few games. I don't know if excessive. Mostly Sea of Thieves.
Probably, but excessive to who? Our viewership?
No, definitely not.
You know what I mean? Like, are they like, bring back the episodes? Everyone's standing outside our doors. Can you imagine if we had that much power? Wouldn't that feel weird?
That'd be fantastic.
It would feel uncomfortable.
I'd be beholden, because I would assume I'd be making more money than I am now, and I could actually sit home and play video games all day.
Right, but wouldn't it be weird if people were crying with tears in their eyes, and it was like, my dad will lose his job if you keep playing games instead of doing regular episodes? Would you just laugh at her from the blinds and slowly close the blinds on some little girl crying? And again, I don't know what scenario leads to her dad not having a job because we did more gaming episodes, but it could happen.
I guess that's a challenge.
Make that girl's father lose a job.
Yeah. We're talking about the Twitch? The Twitch, since we're now streaming on Twitch.
The Twitch. We're Twitchers.
Oh, yeah.
Twitchy 32. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Peak.
Oh, okay, good.
32.4.
No. I really hope he changed his password. I'll tell you right now.
Dildan.
Yeah. So Dildan's old AIM screen name was Twitchy32.
Really?
Yeah. Is that weird?
That's weird that he picked 32. Was he talking about somebody else, like his uncle? Maybe when he was younger, couldn't handle himself.
Was Twitchy? Well, no, because hold on, his password was Stan56.
Stan56.
I really hope he doesn't use this for like his bank and everything. Like he's gonna change everything.
Yeah.
Nah, I think he's changed it since then. But I just think
I still have the same password from when I was. God, since I was like 12. Oh Lord.
Well, it's probably very mature and adult-like.
It actually, it's
Wait,
complex.
does it have one capital letter, one number?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. The worst
My
is
AOL.
if you have...
Every combination.
It's the worst if it has all of that except like a number or something.
Oh.
And certain websites are like, oh, you can't use that. And it's like, I use it for everything, lady. I'm like, oh, it's a lady.
I should have a button that says, I don't care, please let me use this.
I would love that. It's like, you signed up for results from Ibanez Guitars. And it's like, you don't want anyone hacking your account and seeing what kind of bass you bought 10 years ago. It's like, lady, just let me have the password. I'm going to use this literally 3 times and that's it. I don't care.
What is the craziest thing for me is that I use a lot of sensitive government systems that save your past 24 passwords.
Oh, Jesus.
You have to change them every 3 months.
Oh, that's the worst. So what do? Have to write them down on sticky pads and shit?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do you ever use old ones and you're like, this is the stupidest thing ever? It's like, you can't use that one. You did it. And then it's like, you already used this one. And you're like, who cares?
Yeah, you can't come back around. You can't renew what you did. And then, don't you think it's a little bit of a security flaw if someone hacks your system and then it's like, we know 24 of his last passwords. I mean, it's got to be the next iteration.
It is stupid.
Can't wait till that gets broken.
Now, hold on.
Facebook.
I do agree, but don't you think biometrics is bad in a way?
I don't know. All Asian people look alike based on biometrics. So
do they? Wait, like if on the face unlock things and all that?
I've heard that, I heard it screws up and it's like can't tell them apart very well.
I think it's because it's technology made by people in Western civilization now. Like, do you know what I mean?
But if you had a twin and he was very despicable, would you? Despicable twin.
Twins, huh? Such a good. That's a good show idea, isn't it? The Despicable Twin. I would watch that.
I think so. I don't think there's been a show out there like that where you have like one like a cop.
Copyright the Unpanders.
Yeah.
Copyright the Unpanders. Incorporated on the Unpanders.
Mm-hmm.
Intelligent viewership. Not allowed to use this unless you saw the props.
Obviously, there's going to be a moment where the Despicable Twin checks your phone and finds out a message and then does something awful to you.
Or your wife.
Mm-hmm. Plot twist.
Oof. Your Despicable Twin is your wife. Anyway, no, but like biometrics, like in general. So you can never say your account was hacked. Like if you accidentally did something bad or tweeted something wrong. I know athletes do it all the time and delete it.
You're a perfect DNA match.
Right. Or what if you accidentally commit like a small crime, but this cost you your job? It cost you like a whole bunch more for something like jaywalking, but you did it while tweeting and your location was on. Like they know, they're like, no, you logged in. It was you. This is your DNA. Like you're the only one who had it. Like they can pinpoint you to like Step Brothers watching. I think it's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's like Facebook getting busted for trading your information. So it's like they know everything about you.
Does anyone know what the actual story was? I just see the headlines. I didn't read the whole story.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for it to get like wrapped up and then packaged so I can digest it.
Yeah, you're like, I know the headline's out there. I'm not going to click on it. You're like me. You're like, let's give it 2 days, maybe another day. Someone smart will really get all the deets.
Yeah, make it simplified so that I can understand it to the fullest. What I've heard is that Facebook is not a social media company. They're just a spy agency, essentially. And they're tracking everything. Yeah. They're masquerading as a social network.
I mean, they know, assuming your account isn't hacked for one of your posts. Like, could you argue that in a court of law even anymore?
That it got hacked and that someone else posted something. That's like that guy from Scotland. See that guy from Scotland? He trained his dog to do the Hitler thing.
Oh, the Hail Hitler thing.
Yeah.
They found him? Yeah.
Yeah, they found him guilty of some sort of like discrimination or something.
Or
yeah, hate crime because the dog did it and he was encouraging it and filmed it. He was sentenced.
I'm not sticking up for the guy. I just think that's like...
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. But he couldn't say something was hacked or something. Well, I guess your dog wasn't hacked.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess.
That's a different...
My phone was hacked. My voice was there. I think he did it multiple times. He's probably... I bet he's one of those individuals that like probably had like some sort of patch on his arm. And
God, Jesus Christ, probably.
But if he just backed off, he probably would have gotten off scot-free. But scot-free. No, the Scots ain't gonna let you free.
Scot-free. Interesting.
Oh, there's one. I forget where I was gonna go with that. There's a little bit extra there.
I forget where you were gonna go as well. Dan.
What are you talking about? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I forgot.
We're interacting.
Yeah. As far away as 2,000 miles, 1,000 miles. I think it's like 1,500 miles.
I would guess closer to 2, but only because Las Vegas and New York is 3, roughly. So I'm guessing ours is closer to 2, but I could be wrong.
Hold on. I will ask Google everything about me.
Yeah, all these companies could be spying on us. Everywhere I go.
Oh, 1.547.
That's closer to...
Me. My answer. Yeah, but all these companies, they like Facebook was like logging your
Man, you glossed over it. Usually you gloat.
I was gloating in the smile. You can see the smile.
Moving on. It was interesting. You gloated by not gloating.
I was gonna come back to it so I could gloat some more. Okay. I was preparing for the future. But yeah, these companies like they have they know when you make phone calls. It's like that was it. Alexa and all the Amazon or whatever. They're always listening.
I have a Google Home and an Alexa, and most of the time the microphones are off. Because most of the time,
if you make conversation about say birds, do they start talking about birds or bird feed and every kind of thing that's trying to sell you?
No, but I heard Facebook does that.
Yeah, they do.
Targeted ads or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Like no matter what you talk about, so you have your phone. It's always on your goddamn person, right? You have your phone and you start talking about bushes. I love bushes. I want to buy some new hedges for the lawn. I love bush. Bush beer, Bush something, President Bush. If I said all this stuff and then I go on Facebook right now and I look at the targeted ads, it'll either be for President Bush merchandise or like hedges or like Lowe's gardening or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's proven like people do it like on air.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's nuts.
There's no way.
It's not gonna work. They're gonna.
I know they're listening to me. Listen to them. They're like, don't do bushes. Whatever you do, don't do bushes.
They've already countered it.
Where are the ads on mobile? I don't use mobile like ever. I log in like once a month. Facebook's stupid. Here, I'll put it this way. Facebook used to be, god damn it, there's like a bunch of stuff I was tagged
in college. Yeah, in college it used to be the way to find females who were yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll literally tell you like the first 4 posts on Facebook were like yo, this party's get corny or gay or something, like, yo, who's going down to 108, we getting lit, and then someone would be like, my friend's bringing beer to 404, let's go, and that would be like, that's what Facebook was.
I got busted. I was gonna have a party, and it was posted on a Facebook and like a group. I forget what they were called. I think it was a group.
Yeah, groups. They were the first like your page thing.
So it was gonna be a party like that weekend. I posted it.
What year was this? Because like I feel like there's no way like supervisors and hall monitors, what do they call it?
They
checking
did.
it out.
Oh, they definitely did. This was sophomore year, so what? 2007, 6? No, 5.
No,
5.
Like 5 or 4.
Shit.
Holy smokes, dude.
Yeah. So, of course, I was like the captain for the the captain for our apartment. So I went down to the the security
I'm the
office.
captain of the football team, and like I'm the captain of the apartment.
I'll take charge. I was gonna argue with them.
Quicker than anyone. I have quick moves.
So they tried to give us like a
citation,
like a Geico agent or something. But
yeah, a little.
So I went down to like the security office, and I was like, I have no idea where you're getting this. And they like had a printout of the Facebook thing, and I was like, the weird thing is like I didn't even make it. Like I told somebody about it who was in the apartment next to me, and I okayed it.
Like whatever, yeah.
And it was like the username isn't even mine, and like why are you like he couldn't cite me on anything, but he was like they were all over us. Like there's no way we could have a party there that weekend. There's like a cop walking by.
You can't at that point.
So like I wonder if Facebook does the same thing for crimes.
Beer delivery.
Probably do. If someone's
I don't think they can get subpoenaed and all that yet. But isn't it a matter of time? They probably go to the highest bidder. That's honestly what it's all about.
Sell all your information as quickly and as efficiently, as expensively as possible.
That's, you know what? The only beauty of the way I use Facebook is I think I give it a lot of fake information. Like I'm one of those jack-offs that's like, where did you go to school? It's like Irish Studies Camp, and it's like, what did they major in? It's like basket weaving and sucking off dogs. It's like, is that a major? Someone's like, that's offensive, and it's like, I'm gonna be getting all this information from Russia about dogs with large members. I'm gonna be like, well, they hacked me, but ooh, how big is that dog? You know,
Get all that information.
So, I'll be like, it's not exactly 100% accurate. How big's your dog?
No, that'd be great if it was like that was the way the government protected themselves. There was just a layer of like incomprehensible bullshit in between like the real logic. So they're like, I've hacked the system, we're in, and then it's just like a giant penis just like unfurls. It's just like
see everywhere, and they're like, oh man, what did we hack?
What was that Hack the World show with like the skull that laughed? I'm thinking of Independence Day or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, Jolly Roger.
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
I don't even know.
It was called the Jolly Roger. The Independence Day virus that downloaded. I'm just amazed that all the firmware, software, and hardware linked up with an alien species that's never been in contact with us, and our virus. And it was like,
wow.
Man, I hope they're using the same operating system.
Like they're using Windows up there.
That's awesome.
Oh, they pirated it. Look at this. Yeah.
Jolly Roger, they sure did pirate it. Oh, holy hell.
Oh, man. Whew.
Good Jeff Goldblum's character. I hope they're not using Windows 7. What in the hell is Windows 7? Windows 94 is out, you know.
Did you watch Thor Ragnarok?
No, everyone says that was really good. And I saw a really cool action scene that someone retweeted that had I Need a Hero, that song?
I need a hero.
Playing
I
over
watched
the
Short
actions.
Circuit when I was 10 years old.
Wait, what movie?
Short Circuit.
Yeah, Short Circuit 2.
Yeah.
This is so weird. Someone put I Need a Hero over the Thor Ragnarok battle scene, where I guess he's just slaughtering these, whatever they're called, on the bridge, and they're playing that, and I guess Loki's coming to help or someone. I can't tell. I didn't see
there's a crew.
Sure. But anyway, he plays it over, and it lines up perfectly. It's really cool.
Huh.
So hold on. So I was watching it, and my girlfriend goes, "Why are you listening to I Need a Hero?" And I was like, "It's just cool. It goes over an action scene."
She's disgusted
and she
by
goes,
it.
Well, she wasn't. She was just,
She's
why are
curious
you listening
in
to
an
that out
offensive
loud
way.
on your phone?
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't normally do that. And I said, they do this in a lot of movies. Short Circuit 2. And I named another one, and she was like, what? And I was like, oh, Shrek 2 or 3.
Yeah.
It's in the other Shrek. And then she's like, how do you know that? And I was like,
because I watched them once.
yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I don't know. I just watched them. And the fact that you said Short Circuit when no one else even knows that. But that's one of the most badass scenes in that movie.
Yeah. Johnny
It's
Five.
like
Johnny Five.
Alive. Yeah.
Downtown.
Number 5 is alive. Yeah, downtown. Well, I still think I didn't, because that's we used to tape TV movies on VHSs, right?
Yeah.
We had a VHS we watched more than any other as I was a kid. It was Ghostbusters 2, Short Circuit 2, and there was a third movie we weren't really allowed to see, Poltergeist 3.
Yeah,
and
it's
all
scary,
fit on one VHS. It was scary. We watched Short Circuit 2 and Ghostbusters 2 way more than anything. And I was 6 or 7 when I started watching it. Well, I probably saw them 100 times because I just watched it again. So I know like all of Johnny Five's lines, and I didn't understand them. Like the part where he's on the date and he's radioing him the stuff on the sign, you probably don't even remember.
I don't remember that.
I saw it 100 times. So he's controlling a billboard, like an electronic billboard with the words that go across it. And he's like trying to impress the girl, and a cat's jumping on Johnny Five's head and messing with the antenna, which would change the words, of course. Anyway, and it's like, he's like, when I look at you, I see diamonds. And she's like, that's beautiful. And then the cat's messing with it, and it's like, and it takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. And it's like a man punching a chicken, because it was like a Tyson commercial kind of that got spliced in there. And I think that was the funniest damn thing I've ever seen.
For your 10-year-old self?
6-year-old self, whatever, 7, I don't know. It takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. It's really
interesting movie because it was like two main guys, like the actual humans.
Yeah, the other
were
guy.
Indians, right?
No, the other. No, that was
one guy was one. What was the second?
2 was the guy who what is his role? Look it up, because you'll recognize him right away. He was a piece of. He often plays a piece of garbage in a movie. Like he's like more
Classic
obsessed
garbage.
with money and himself type guy, but has good intentions, but always gets waylaid by money and scheme. I don't know his name. He was older back then. He's still older.
I love
Obviously.
how you can look up every single thing.
It's kind of weird. You should just argue about shit 10, 15 years ago, and no one would be able to answer it. Nowadays, you're like, let me Google it.
My internet is like, oh. I think it's Michael McKean. I think that's the person you're talking about.
I could be his name. I don't know his name.
Yeah, the white guy.
Yes. Yeah.
He looks
they're both
kinda
Indians. Yeah, he's always that role. He's always like, on the good guy side, but he gives in to the temptation of money.
He's got, a little stick up his butt. He's like a little bit wealthy. He's just going to get more money.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't do this because you don't have as much money as I do. That's the exact look on his face. Even in regular pictures. He's just on the street.
Could be the nicest guy. I have no idea.
Could be. He's a good actor if he's actually that way. Actually not that way. All right, we'll talk about Twitch. Let's talk about Twitch.
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
Yeah, before we got derailed there.
We got railed all right. Everyone,
as in...
railed, as in...
Was it Dinah, what's the name?
Direwolf. Direwolf?
Direwolf.
I'm not sure what it stands for. It's probably code for something.
Yeah, I don't know. But she's a friend of a friend of Dildan. And it was interesting because you talked to her, I talked to her. She was
She
twitching at
does
the time.
Overwatch.
Yeah.
Overwatch?
She looked like
Does
she was
Overwatch.
good by the way she was moving. As like a gamer, you can kind of tell they're kind of like you can tell people hanging back a little bit.
Did you play Overwatch?
Never. I've
She's
never
a
played.
Pharaoh main, I think.
So I don't even know what that means. I guess
Never mind.
they
All
could
right.
float.
Yeah, she floats.
I saw her float, and I was like, that's kind of cool. You can choose where your angle. But the thing of it was that she knew she was playing, and I don't know how many other people were in the channel. She made it seem like there are more than just me, but I don't know if that's true. But like the way she was looking over, like so to my right is where the Twitch channel is, and I can see if there's anybody there, and there's nobody there because we're not popular. But there's a certain thing about it knowing you're live and when you're talking to somebody, it's almost as if like you kind of need like there's a one-way form of communication here because if someone says something in the channel, I could just talk. I could just say like, "Oh, that's bullshit." Like I don't care about you. Or like,
Sure.
"Oh yeah, that's awesome." And like I can cut them off the moment I finish speaking. I think Twitch should have a feature so that it shows a picture of the person and like they can like have a stream that's like redirected at you. So it should be like instant back and forth communication. But it'd be
I understand what you're saying, but
overkill.
you can't deny the person because it shows up in the chat for everyone. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you can be like, "Why did you cut me, Sharon?" And it's like Sharon's like, "Ah, just playing the game here," and it's like, "Sharon, I have video evidence. You cut me with a blade. The police actually charged you with the crime," and it's like, "Anyway, we're walking through the hallway now," and she's like trying to play the game, ignore it. And it's like, "Sharon, I will find you. You cut me with a blade." Like I don't know, like the person in the chat could have power.
Yeah, and most of the
I know what
chat
you're
is
saying.
diarrhea, like of
Well, when you go on a real popular
Yeah.
person's one, it's just like a constant.
it's like
no,
garbage.
so no one can read anything at that point. At that point, the chat is, as we called, effed in the business. We call it effed.
Mm-hmm. Fucked.
Whoa! Our Twitch
that's
rating just went to PG-13
Yeah.
plus.
Sorry, guys.
Sign me up for plus. Sign me up for 13 plus. Dress size.
That's okay. We've already been demonized or demonetized on YouTube. It's actually I kind of like this interface for Twitch because it does a live feed and then it will record the live feed for you and then post that for you automatically, and then people can go in and pick out segments and say I like this 30-second segment, and then they can do clips for you if they like you enough. But there's no quality assurance with that.
If we both went to the bathroom at the same time, 30 seconds,
You're blank.
came back, and someone was like, "That was my favorite 30 seconds."
Yeah.
And you just promote that.
You just hear me in the background pissing.
Nice.
Yeah. I try not to look over because it's like if there were people there, it'd be really distracting. I could imagine trying to respond to them and wanting to talk to them and like be like, "No, we hear you, But
so I talked
we're
to
not gonna
Dildan about that. He's like, because him and Dinah were playing Overwatch,
Mhm.
and I was trying to I went in the chat and I was like trying to mess with them because it made me feel good. I guess I don't know. I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
And I was like, "LOL, check out Dan's hat." Like, you know what I mean? Or hey, I noticed you guys don't get along too well. What's the big fight about? Is it because Dan said you're fat or something? Or it's just like whatever. It's like things that aren't true. Just to start. I want to see an argument between them. I wanna see a
They have
fight.
to yell and then click it off.
Camera.
Yep.
Yeah. What? Did you say that? It also feels good to have yourself talked about by the people in power. Did you put it? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, to be acknowledged, I guess.
But they were playing Overwatch, which is like a pretty demanding game. So most of the time they were like just like glancing at it and then like playing for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And the other problem is there's a 10-second delay,
That too, yeah.
which is weird because I'd be like, finally, one of you learned how to kill, LOL, after like a crazy good kill. Well, 10 seconds goes by and they died or something. And the comment comes up and they're probably like, what? Who's died? So like they ignore it. They're like, I don't know. Did he mess that up? I don't know. Does he know?
Yeah, that's the one thing I was watching feeds from Ninja and some other guy that were playing Fortnite. And
Drake?
those people no, I didn't watch that one. That's bullshit.
Oh, okay. I was curious because like Ninja, some guy. I don't know.
Ninja's guy. I don't know what his name is. It's just
I have
Ninja.
no
He goes
idea.
by Ninja.
Sure.
But those people like they talk like they talk in like clips themselves. Like they do a little like
They
one-offs.
have to, I guess.
Yeah, because then it's like 10 seconds later they have to be in the fight and be fully focused. So it's like dead silence when they're just like they're constantly,
Right, and then they
and then they come back and they're like,
so do you think they
"Woo."
pre-plan packets of things they're going to talk about or say or whatever? Or...
They don't never talk about anything. It's just it's like
a learn-
reactionary almost. And then
Right,
like
it has to be, I guess. a
they
little
always have a sidekick that like makes it like I guess
Yo,
a
man,
little bit better.
Who was killed? I was nuts. I was like, oh damn, you was like flying.
And it's
Like,
garbage.
Hmm.
It's trash. You don't have people that are equally paired and that can like move on. I mean, they're winning, but it's like that other person is not verbally equipped. I guess they're both not quite verbally equipped, but
Maybe not. That's not why they're in it. You know what I mean? It's not like they're like, the grand speakers, ninja and sidekick.
yeah.
They
Someone
came
that just
today at
talks.
Yale.
They probably have game commentators, right?
I doubt it. We could probably make some money there.
I think we could.
Problem is, I guess, so you watch a sports game, you always watch it from one perspective. I like Team A. Either Team A is doing good, and it's because they're doing good,
Mm-hmm.
or Team A is failing, and they're doing bad. That's the only reason the other team's doing good.
I understand that.
Like, you almost never are focusing on Team B. You have to focus on one team, and whether they're doing bad or they're doing good. Or you focus on the other team, and they're doing bad or they're doing good. It's
I
hard
like
to focus on things at once.
Like the I guess the problem with the commentary on this is that if you're watching a sport, there's always one ball. There's always one person with a focus. And
Right, there's 8 controllers with
yeah.
4 players on each team. Well, 4 players are doing different things and merging and whatever. And someone could be super effective at driving the play, but not actually have the kills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no stat to back it up. He's forcing the play. He's forcing whatever he's being great at support. I guess you could talk about that, but you'd have to really know the ins and outs of the game.
But
really.
then all 4 of them might be doing stuff all at the same time. There's no way you could talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh, can you imagine that? Yeah, you couldn't do it live. You'd have to do it on a. If you watch the most popular Overwatch match ever in recorded history, you'd have to
Like
record
16
it.
versus 16. You're trying to capture it all.
Right. You'd have to just go over it, watch it 1,000 times, pick out timelines, and then just talk about things. I noticed here so and so really took the match by hand because he went to this point and killed X, 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 and Y and did this move. Later on, so and so did this, but you'd have to watch everyone to make sure you're talking about the most important thing going on.
Yeah, it'd make
I
it
don't know.
tough.
I think we just got way too involved in
Gaming commentary.
Yeah. Well, not the gaming commentary.
I'm kind of eager where this goes because
Well, hold on. This is weird too. The only people who would know for sure are other people gaming, I feel like.
that if you're actually commentating on what's happening,
Right.
or
So let's say you're playing Overwatch or Call of Duty 4, anything where it's 6-on-6, 8-on-8, 4-on-4, whatever. There's more than 2 or 3 people. When you're playing, you almost know where the action is, who's driving the action.
where the voids are, the empty space. Yeah.
Sure, and whether you're climbing into them or not, you still are well aware of who's the most important person on the field. You probably mostly focus on yourself, I will say that.
Yep.
But at the same time, you know if, holy shit, so-and-so's got like 8 headshots. I have no clue how. This guy is ridiculous. You hit tab, you look at his kill count, and you're like, this guy's driving, holy smokes, I haven't even seen him this match. He's killed how many
Call
people?
of Duty would be perfect for that because then you could be like, oh, he's gotten up to the helicopter now, and he's got
Right.
he's
And
doing
he's
in the park.
already pulling the helicopter. You're like, Jesus Christ, this guy must have killed like 4 people in one spot. I don't know, but it's easier to understand from inside the game. A game.
You'd have to be a pro. Yeah, you'd have to know where like the heat map of deaths would be. Like if you're standing in this one spot, that's not a good spot to be because you're likely going to die. Like you could see the whole team. You'd be like, they're not positioned well. They need to move over here, pivot here. As a team, they need to be on this side.
With heat maps and all that, you're talking about someone from a third party. So I guess someone who's played 1 billion times and can watch it from the outside. I guess and watch everybody screen at once. I don't know. Is that possible?
That
Are
would
we
be
talking about like the
amazing.
Matrix type thing? Like the dude
He
who
just
has
have all the
all the
bits.
chairs in front of him and he's watching one match and he's like,
I would really want. That's one thing I've never seen is that you take an entire game that's like 16 versus 16, and then you make it all on one screen, so it's a bunch of different blocks.
that would be crazy. But I guess
You wouldn't be able to watch it, but it'd be insane to
right,
try to watch.
it would be too small unless well we're moving to 4K video, right? 4K
Imagine,
is beautiful. It's 4 times as many pixels in one thing. So
yeah, you could scrunch it in. Imagine if you had a map and like you could see what everyone saw, and they were moving on the map with their screen essentially. If you could watch them like interact with other people that were on their map,
I agree, but your brain wouldn't be able to process everything at once.
I get that, but you might be able to watch like a battle here and then watch as they shift over
Well,
here
then
and a
how do you
battle
know
here.
you're watching the right one?
It'd
What
be
if it
on.
was highlighted?
No, I'm talking about like if it was on like a physical map and you could see like their screen move like as they walked. Like if you could see like two guys walking and like looking at each other on a map and try to shoot each other, like that'd be nuts.
What,
Hey,
3D version, and then you can zoom in to see their screens type thing?
no, like their icon, like their little a marker
Oh, okay.
is their screen.
The screen. Okay. That would be interesting. It would be because I mean you'd be able to see who's about to engage who.
Yeah, and then you could focus on what each one is watching, and then if you knew the map, you'd be able to understand how they were engaging.
Right, but I mean in general. So if you see two people on the outskirts, you can ignore them essentially because they're not going to interact with anyone for a while.
Yep.
You're just watching the action. So you see here, screen here, and you know this is a hot point or whatever, a part where they're about to interact. So you can watch both their screens kind of at the same time because they're near each other too. And
Yeah,
interesting. I like it.
that'd be. They need that technology. I might make that technology. Who knows?
They're saying gamers are the next military
Well, they
because
do
they're tougher,
drones and
they're
stuff.
smarter, and they're faster than the real military. Shout out our Marines, but shout out louder in case they engage us, gamers.
No, I that didn't they have that one game called Army One or something. It was like given
Was
out
it
for free.
Army ploy for like to try
It
to figure out
was.
who's good at what?
It was.
The
Call of
only
Duty
problem
ripoff.
is how many flaws are there with a game when it's released? It's like, this game sucks because you always lose if you're on side A. This weapon is way overpowered. It doesn't take into account people who blah 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 blah. Controller thing sucks.
Learn
All
by
that-
dying.
It was just like everything. Everything sucks more than we think, and everything's better more than we think. I always think. You
It
like
was
that?
also kind of a, I wouldn't say like brainwashing, but it had symbolism all throughout it. That was
Okay.
like, woo, pro America armed forces. So it's like, while people were enjoying a game, they were enjoying being part of the
America.
military, and then
Oh
hopefully,
yeah, dude.
hopefully they would translate into being militant. No, they'll be part of the
Can't
military.
say why it wouldn't. As soon as I finished playing a rousing game of Call of Duty, I honestly just wanted to go overseas and kill myself to install a new government. So
Yeah,
shout out military game.
always wanted to plant like one of those C4s right at the base of a terrorist building or something.
Is it weird that GoldenEye is the only game that moved or C4 to the next level and called it a plastique?
Really?
You
They call
remember
that plastique?
plastiques? Yeah, they called them plastiques, which were like they seem to be bigger explosives. And in my brain, I was always like games who have C4, like Metal Gear Solid. Remember, you could stick C4 on the back of guards who would walk by.
Yeah.
But I mean, that blows up like a small area, like boom, boom.
Yeah.
A plastique would explode in fire everywhere, and it would continue to blow up, and it was like a huge deal. Now I don't know if that was because it was an N64 and that's all they could do. They just make fiery hitboxes go off for a while. I don't know. But I thought plastiques are where it's at.
That's
C4?
GoldenEye.
Check it out. Go ahead.
So, you want to transition into main topic?
I'd love to. I have a lot prepared for it.
2001.
Hope you do. 2001, folks. We just beat 9/11. 20.
You had to start off. I knew you were going to start off with that.
I messed it up. I meant to say we just beat Y2K.
Oh, yeah.
I literally said
Because
this exact.
we never beat 9/11, really.
No, we did. We just beat Y2K. Everyone was a survivor. Our generation, which we're between X and
Millennials
millennial,
and
correct?
yeah, I think so.
Between X and millennial. They made one
I
up
think we're
for us.
technically millennial, but I don't think I associate with millennial.
Mm. But we were just getting into high school. We were sprouting those wings, sprouting.
I'll put my own spin on it. Is like 2011 was my 15 to 16 year.
2001.
Yep.
No,
2001.
you
Did I
said
say 2011? Oh man, I've been younger, a lot younger. 10 years. I've been in college.
2001.
2001.
Just past 2000.
2001. Let me say 2001.
Say
So yeah, so 15 to 16. It's the year where like there's a big transition there. So I remember when I was 14, 15, leading up to that, like I literally couldn't do anything because I was stuck inside the house. Like I would have to ask like my parents for a ride to drop me off somewhere or take me somewhere.
Did you go to the mall? Were you a mall kid or something?
I went to the mall every now and then. I remember hanging out at the mall, theaters.
So weird.
Like people's houses. Like you can't.
Kids don't do that, do they? I have no idea.
I don't know if they do that now. I don't know why you would, honestly. If you could.
No, I don't know, but I don't know why we did. I think it was just because that's where people gathered. You couldn't communicate otherwise, could you?
That's another thing. Back then, is you had to call somebody, and it was like, you want to hang out? And then it's like, okay, yeah. Like, when do you want to do this?
Wait,
Make sure you get all the details.
I had to call their You had to call their house phone. You don't even know who's going to answer.
Mm-hmm.
You had to memorize it too. You wrote it down in a little phone book. Did you guys have a family phone book?
We did. We had it inside the cupboard. You pull the cupboard back, and there's a letterhead. There's all the.
Now, how did it work? Did you just alphabetize everything? Because we broke ours by family member. Like, I had my own segment that was like all my best friends or whatever, and their phone numbers and their addresses and their names.
Eventually, you memorize them.
My sister did.
10-digit number.
Dude, I still...
215, 315. I think 80 something. Shit, I forget.
Is that Mike?
I think it's Mike's. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. So Dildan's, I'll tell you right now, 215-742-2618.
It's not his current one, right?
No, yeah, it is. He carries around his landline. It's awful.
His parents' house. But that was the transition too. It was like at the same time I got a car. 4530.
So
I'm going both topics because you get freedom as in you can move around, and then freedom as in you can finally communicate because you got like I got the little Nokia phone with like the only thing on it was like Snake and you could call people.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like that's huge. That's massive. I remember the only means of information was actually talking to people. Like they would tell you like, oh, this CD's good, and like you would have all of these people. You'd already be judging what they were telling you because they were right there in front of you. It wasn't some internet strangers
So even when it's an internet stranger, you're still judging them.
That's true.
Because you see, like, let's say it's a Facebook, a Twitter, or something. You know that account, and you know their history with CDs. You know, oh, last year they said CD so-and-so was the next big thing. It sucked. And they said so-and-so was the next great CD. It sucked. And now they say this one's bad. It might be good. Like, you judge everything still based on a character. If anything, you just have less information about the character than you did back then, I will say. Depending on the character. If you go to FYE or back in our day, what was it called? The Wall? Did you have
the wall existed, yeah.
I had The Wall? That's awesome.
FYE was mainly my thing. And then they had another one, too. I think closed even.
Coconuts? Did you do Coconuts?
No, not Coconuts. I forget what it was.
Coconuts, The Wall, and there was a third one. I don't remember what it was. Probably the same one.
There's like a Tinseltown one. And then...
People are like, what the hell are any of these?
Yeah, no, these are all CD sellers.
Entire
stores filled with CDs
to buy music. You had to go to a store that only sold music. I mean, they had movies.
And there were so many people in there just listening to random CDs to understand what they liked.
I mean, in a way that's so cool. I mean, it's awful. I mean, I understand our way is way more streamlined, way cooler, way more efficient.
Yeah.
But something about that way is pretty cool. Not to mention, how about people worked at these places that probably like got real deep into stuff, and they're the only pathway. Well, they're the only pathway for Joe Schmo who walks in.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of power they have. Don't even listen to that CD. It's a waste of your goddamn time. Check out their B-side from '93. You're gonna be blown the F away. You know what I mean? It's like what?
Intense.
Yeah. I mean, but like you're on the battlefront of CDs.
So give me like a top song of 2001.
I don't know. I meant to look up all the top movies, top songs, and whatever. Give me one.
There's 90% of them are garbage. Hash Pipe from Weezer, that was in there.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait, that's not ooh you. That's I got my hash pipe. That's kind of when they changed their sound a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Bunch of garbage. Chop Suey. I know Toxicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Toxicity was out then?
Yeah.
Badass.
Everything else is a bunch of garbage, though.
Well, why don't you give me some garbage? I mean, I want some timeline. I want some, Let
me see. I don't even want to talk about any of this stuff.
You don't have to talk about it. I just need to know what was the hit. I mean, come on.
Some stuff from O-Town. You know what O-Town was? It's like a boyfriend.
Shit. What song by O-Town? Yeah, I know O-Town.
All or Nothing. They're all over the place. They're a manufactured boy band.
I know. And hold on, how many hits do they have?
Oh, they have like 3. It's like All For You, I think.
What about When the Lights Go Out?
I don't want to care. Liquid Dreams. Don't make me care about this.
Who cares about caring about it? It's about everyone around you did. So don't see. This is the thing about
Destiny's Child. Oh God.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
That's the one thing that I wanted to note from looking at the top songs and movies. It's like this was a moment where people didn't have like the sources of information they have today. Even like the end of 2001 is probably the beginning of the internet forums and everyone talking and finally figuring out information. It's like they had ways of manufacturing things so that a lot of people would buy them, and it's still the same today. But I think people are more aware of them being manufactured.
A little bit, but also keep in mind it was probably worse before that year.
Yeah, because everything became really generic because they were trying to hit all those people that were limited in knowledge. The same thing happened with
They've been doing it in the 80s, 90s, and everything too, though, weren't they?
I guess so, but I didn't exist really listening to music during that time.
I don't care. I wasn't around, so
Yeah, the same thing happened with the movies. Like a lot of the let me say, what was it, trilogies and whatnot started then. Like a lot of the series started then.
Really? Why? So they can cash in 2 more times? Is that the idea?
I guess it was like they were setting it up. It's a main focus. Is like movie theaters were huge back then, like even bigger than they are now, I think.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, that's ironic. They don't make as much money. Is that a sales thing? Is it they charge more for a movie now than they used to? Do you think that plays into it?
I think more of it had to do with like the movie itself, because I think now there's a bunch of hype and marketing that goes along with it, and then social media. It's a more complex method of marketing that gets people to go. Like Black Panther just broke a bunch of records, and it's like if you were to show me like a preview from that movie, I don't know if I would watch it. Like I might be interested, but not really.
I have not, but I'm not a movie goer anymore.
Oh, you're stuck. I only get to watch a couple movies a year.
I watch stuff when it comes to Netflix and stuff. We're old.
Yeah, but Netflix is probably going to start releasing movies and skip over to the theater. I would bet. That'd be
pretty badass.
Yeah. So what series of movies do you think started? There's 2. There's
01, huh? How about whatchamacallit, the Robot Warriors, Transformers?
Transformers? I think that was a little later.
Was it
I don't see it in there.
Okay, I didn't know it was one of the first ones.
I think
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings started. That's the first one.
Which one?
That was the first one. Fellowship of the Ring.
I'll tell you something fucked up about that.
Yeah.
It was 2001.
It says 2001, yeah.
It came out late 2001, December.
You want to make me look?
I do, because this is important. This will change my story. It's by month.
Ooh. Let me see. It doesn't, not giving, December 19th. They do the Christmas release.
Check that shit out. I knew it was December. So I went to see this in theaters with Matty O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What an interesting crew.
Wait, hold on. It was with Ryan and some people.
Whoa. He was one of those. The one thing I remember about him was he was talking about masturbation, and he said he was one of those philosopher types.
He was
Yeah.
twat philosopher.
Yeah. He was like, doesn't masturbating make you kind of gay because you're like you like the feeling of like your own like a man's thing in your hand.
Did he drop that in the Sweeney class or something?
We were just talking and like they had like the little
he was just casually saying that.
Casually saying it like in a group of people.
Trying to get a rise out of people.
He was. He's essentially saying like maybe you're but it's like that's what I remember about him. Thank you for using his full name.
I remember I had a Sweeney class with him, and
I could imagine that.
Kids in our school, and Sweeney always loved debate and topic and back and forth discourse, and he was like, so it's kind of like the human body is a shell. It doesn't really mean anything. And he raised his hand and he was like, so why don't we goddamn bury the bodies in the streets? Or why don't we goddamn leave the bodies in the streets? And it took everyone by surprise. And he was like, well, we bury the dead. And he was like, well, why? They're just empty shells. Like, we went on and on. And he got to the point where he had Sweeney yelling and throwing chalk at the board. And he was like, it's just a shell. Why don't we leave them in the streets, filling our dumpsters, filling the streets, just empty bodies everywhere because they don't mean anything. And like
he would debate with like a screwdriver. He's just like tweaking it.
Yeah. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like President of the United States.
He could be.
It was Donald.
He's got another 3 years.
Is that true?
That's the minimum is 35. Yeah, he could be there.
Okay. Anyway.
He was intense though. Movie? Lord of the Rings. You went with your crew.
So I saw it with him. Who's not my crew. I've never gone to anything social.
Just a random show up. He just pops up.
It was random. It was the craziest thing. And a couple other guys, that type crew. I want to say maybe a Moffat or someone. I don't remember.
Moffat? Really?
Kevin Werner, definitely. There was definitely Kevin Werner, a Werner sighting.
Stop dropping the names.
I don't care, dude. What are you going to be like, oh no, we showed up on the
other It's going to be stored forever, yeah.
Well, listen, dude, when everybody's 100, we're going to look back at this and be like...
Well, you are naming the people who probably wouldn't care. There's no way these people would be like...
Yeah, definitely. They're not name looking. So
Werner, wait, I got a Werner story.
Do you?
So he's talking Lord of the Flies.
Uh-huh.
And then we're in Molishes, I don't know.
Funny as hell, man.
He was talking about how, like, you read the story and all of a sudden it's like, you start hearing this drum. And this drum just keeps banging. And eventually, you're just hooked on the drum. It just keeps banging and banging. And then you're like, no, I want this to stop. But it just keeps banging. And he keeps banging his desk the whole time. And he's like, you just can't make it stop. It's just going to keep beating and beating and beating until it's all... And then...
In whose class? Molish?
Molishes, yeah. English teacher.
That's awesome. That's badass.
But he was pounding that desk at the end, and it was just like...
I can see him hitting his desk.
He's just like shaking and just like... it was great.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, story. Keep going.
So, my grandmother died within 24 hours of this event.
Oh, no.
Or within a couple days. Maybe after. It depends when I saw it. I don't know. She died around the 21st. And I might not have seen it opening night, so, I have no idea.
Yeah, true. 19th.
Well, I might not have seen it opening night, I'm saying.
Yeah, no. You could have seen it
What if I saw it the 25th? Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't know. All I know is I listened to that night. It was like snowy and frosty. And I went for a walk because I was a youth who would go for walks because I was troubled.
Youths.
And I couldn't drive. So I was stuck in my house.
Uh-huh.
And I just moved to the suburbs. We all know I hated that move. I was a city boy, moved to the suburbs at age 13, 14, whatever I was. And I hated my parents. I hated everyone. I had a true love back in the city. Yeah.
So wait, freshman year you were a city boy, and then sophomore year was a...
Correct. I had moved to the suburbs. And I hated everyone. I would go for long walks. Like I was angst and moody. I was emo. A little bit of listen to music with my headphones, tune out the world. And I still remember I was listening to Joe Satriani, Chords of Life. You can look this up. It's a real good song.
I know
real
this
good
one.
song. Okay. And I'm going for a walk, and I listened to the song. And I just remember the song was over, and I had all these tears going down my face. And I felt like my grandmother, who had passed, was like, the only thing you have to know about life, and I still remember this lesson, is that there's nothing to fear. Like, if you're going to die, you're going to die. If you're going to live, you're going to live. If you're going to get hit by the IRS for tax evasion, you're going to hit by tax evasion. It doesn't matter. Fearing it doesn't change anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just, there's nothing to fear. Literally nothing. Whatever happens is going to happen. Maybe time is fake. I don't know. I don't know if that tells me that, but maybe it does. And I just remember it was the happiest and weirdest feeling in the world, and a weight was lifted off me, and I never was the same after that night. And I credit it to the song, my grandmother, whatever, but I very much was not as anxious a person. I don't know. I was not as...
You're freewheeling?
I guess, yeah. Like, in a way, how I am on the podcast still to this day. A little bit.
Huh.
I don't know. It was a very big turning point in my life, I guess. And it was after The Lord of the Rings came out, and we all saw it with whoever and whatever, and it was a good movie.
It made you remember.
It did. It was interesting. And it just made me feel like, honestly, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just, if you're going to die, you're going to friggin' die. I don't know. So, it sounds so Matt O'Donnell, dead bodies in the streets, but, you know, I don't know.
There's two directions that are kind of, that makes me think of it, two separate ones. Today, there's a little bit of a smile. Like, we have a meeting, like the first thing Monday morning when I'm super tired and I don't want to talk to anybody, and we all go around and there's a microphone and we have to say what we're working on, and like it gets broadcast. Like there's like 50 people in the room and there's probably like 10 people listening online. And like for the first time ever, like I always sit, I'm dead last. Like I'm the last person to go. So like
by name anyway.
Well, I just sit in the corner because I don't like people. I like to spread out. I put my drink on the right side.
Look at this guy, man spreading.
Spreading, yep. Mm-hmm. And it was the first time ever that like I get nervous whenever I have to like publicly speak. It's always been the way. And like I wasn't nervous until like it was like right next to my turn.
Right before you turn.
Yeah.
One turn away, you're like
10
two
seconds.
turns away, you're like, this isn't a big deal. Who cares? One turn away, you're like, it's here. It's here. The ghost.
The anxiety hits. And it was one of the first times I was like, I like the adrenaline. Like I felt the adrenaline going, and I was like, I don't really feel adrenaline in my life, so it's like, I like that. Like, yeah,
alive.
Like, I want to feel that. I want to live it, and then
embrace it.
It doesn't matter what I say, so I'm focused. The adrenaline just makes me focused, and I was just enjoying it. So that was a little bit of a smile.
Interesting.
And like, I guess I don't care that much about what happens. I guess to me, or like life, or all that, the bigger picture. So I think it'll all be okay. Regardless of the, oh fuck, and then like the whole story is just like, oh, he's getting fired.
You go to talk. This whole episode just plays out behind you on the TV screen. You're like, I'm fired.
Yeah, bring that up. And then the other thing is, I wanted to ask you is like, what's the first memory of our interaction? Because honestly, the first.
I don't know. I can't remember the first interaction. It was probably in Molish's or eighth period, hallway. Was it? I don't know.
Could have been. Was that sophomore year? Hallway was sophomore
freshman year.
Freshman year? Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe it was earlier in 2001.
Could be.
See, like the one thing that's unique. The one thing that's unique is that we went to a public school or private school that was like 45 minutes away. So like, I had to drive that distance plus some to get to, like, if I was going to your house. So like,
if we ever hung out,
making friends with people was difficult because you'd have to like plan things out. You had to call people on the phone.
Right, that is
and be
different. Like, you're right, and it's not like you can be like, let's meet at Mom.
Can you drive me for an hour and a half? Like,
you can't really do that.
Mom.
To hang out for an hour and a half.
Yeah. So you ended up making friends with the people that were like in that school, but like closest to you, like Mike. Or like there are a couple people on the bus that like were kind of cool, but I didn't really hang out with them, like younger than me. So the first thing I remember of you is you body checking me into like the locker. I think you like checked me into a locker sometime sophomore year. Yeah, to be a dick. But I already like, I was like, I don't know, something different about you that you didn't do it maliciously. So I was like,
I did it anti-dick.
Yeah, and I had like that giant backpack. If you remember that thing,
I remember that backpack.
It was like this big
initials on it, dude.
Yeah. Oh shit! Like my grandmother gave that to me, I think. She gave me like that little shirt that had my initials on it.
Oh, I was going to let everyone on the podcast know you wore your goddamn initials on your shirt.
I had really nerdy hair too. I think I had it parted right in the middle, just like
Yeah, you
today.
did have
But
the
I had
middle
it
part.
up high though.
You look like a Trickle.
Oh yeah, I did. Well, Trickle
Well,
had
because
longer
he
hair.
had right, but he had the part. I guess
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a year
But
thing.
Trickle was like a
Yeah,
stoner kind of like, yeah, man, don't worry
yeah.
about it, yeah.
Yeah, man. 'Cause he didn't graduate with us. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he
He did?
disappeared after like a year or two. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Let's think about this.
Makes me think
Maybe
of. I
not.
want to look, but I think he graduated.
Oh, so I don't think I saw him after like the first year.
There's certain people that just faded, like they just didn't exist. I don't know if they like started.
They've actually left in school. I mean, we can't just assume they weren't that important. We also can assume they left.
But I remember him. I remember like I messed with his car like when he was like a junior. I don't know. Did he stay junior year? I don't know if he stayed senior year.
But maybe he finished then. I don't know. If you get that far, you might as well finish. Did someone's dad own a car dealership?
Yeah, Reedman.
Yeah. That was the. Oh my god.
He smashed up his car, and the next day he had a brand new one. I remember that.
What a coincidence! It just came from God.
It was delivered. He prayed really hard, and he just answered his prayers in 24 hours. It's strange.
A lot of kids in our school had new cars.
Yeah, really nice cars.
What'd you drive? What was the Volvo?
It was a Volvo. Yeah, you had a
Firebird.
Firebird.
Yeah, yours a little older.
Yeah, I had a hand-me-down from my pops.
Cool, dude.
I
had a 92 teal Firebird.
Oh, nice. I had a 94. And then I smashed it the junior year.
Glid?
I glid. Yeah, glid. And right in the... It didn't even... I wasn't even... That was low impact. Except the airbags went off, which cost thousands of dollars for some reason. Life-saving
So
devices.
the industry, goddamn it, F the airbags. Airbags can go shove it. Airbags can suck it. And airbags can blow it.
I wish there was a button that had that, like, F the airbags. I don't need this shit right now. It just didn't go off. You're just like, I could take it, see?
Airbags are shit.
Yeah. That thing, plus when an airbag have you ever had an airbag go off in your face?
I don't think it went off in my accident, did it? The Firebird? I got totaled from behind and I don't remember.
Well, the thing's filled with like toxic gas, and it's supposed to inflate. I think mine was broken or something, but it instead of inflating exactly, it split right in the middle and just toxic gas just went right in my face, and I was just like,
like a nasty fart.
It's worse than that. You can't. It's like it like burns the inside of your lungs when it hits you.
Nice.
So I was effed up that day, but I still was in class for a little bit, and I was like, I can't do this.
You never did drugs and went to school, right? For the podcast record,
No,
neither.
no. The most crazy thing I did was I had these contacts that were red, with food coloring. I dyed them red, and then I put them in and wore them the whole day, and my eyes were like super bloodshot. So every teacher must have thought I was like super high, but then my eyes are like dark, like super dark.
Anyway, right. You can't see the iris all the time. Right?
Yeah. So there's like a red ring, and then it was like even like the darker contact made it like black. So like if you were staring at me, like it would like I would look like a vampire or something.
Yeah, more than usual.
And most of our teachers, they're split. Either they're like religiously biased, like they're brothers, or they were
laid back,
older,
super liberal type.
Brothers, older, or they were like people actually our age, like people just graduating from college trying to find the first job.
Did we get a lot of them?
I felt like I had like maybe like 3 or 4 teachers.
Yeah, religion teacher or 2. Yeah.
They're younger.
Getting a religion teacher like that is like, that's the gig. They're like, what makes your experience on life real, and draw it. It's like, okay, gotcha.
Oh. I remember freaking teachers out though. They're like trying to look away. They're like, I don't know what the hell's wrong with this kid, but
may or may not have indulged in drugs like twice in my entire high school, going to school life.
Even alcohol? Do you call alcohol a drug?
I do. I didn't really drink.
I didn't drink in high school either.
Nah, I would never drink like during. I'm not. Even in high school, even back when I was a young teenager, I wasn't a day drinker. But I just remember being in French class, and the teacher hated us anyway, and he was like calling people out. He was like, "Who's say?" And he called me being like slow with my answers, and I was like, je veux say? And like I would say something in French. He was like, oh, comment vous say? Oh, je vais. And I'd be like,
Oui.
what? Oh,
Que?
what?
Que?
With a question mark? And he was like attacking me, and like I didn't know what to do. I was just like, je... and it was the scariest moment of my life. Set me straight.
Kept you straight.
Haven't done a drop of drinking or alcohol or drugs since that day.
And then everything turned in college. But we're
No,
not talking about that year.
Since that day. I used to drive a kid to school who was a year or two younger than me.
Huh. I never knew about this.
He would smoke every day.
Who's the kid? Smoke cigarettes?
No. He would smoke weed every day.
Huh.
In my car. And he was every day. He was always like, yo, you want something? I would always be like, no, I'm good.
You're going to get it anyway. Second hand.
Not really. I would crack the window all the time.
Huh.
But I mean, like, it was just...
Did I know the kid? Don't say his full name.
I'm not. No, because he was a year under us. His brother was 2 years older than us. Or a year older than us.
He
Probably don't know him either.
He didn't play hockey?
No.
Okay.
He's probably friends with him, though.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, he liked punk music and all that. But it was so funny. He used to go to school, and he would be like, yo, you got to play this CD. Because I got a CD player installed in my Firebird.
Got a CD player installed.
I had to install it myself. I did it myself.
Yeah, back when there was a separate unit.
Yeah. So I would do that, and he would always, because I was a big metalhead back then, and I'd be like, check out this In Flames CD, and check out this Dream Theater, whatever, like, progressive metal and all this stuff. And he'd be like, dude, you gotta listen to this Fish song. It's called Fee. And I was like, all right. And we put it in. It was like, fee, 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 fee. Hit him with a coconut. And like, it's the craziest lyrics. Like, is this music, dude? This is wild. He'd be like, yeah, dude. He was funny as hell. I hope the best for him. He was doing good, but...
Remember my sister. My sister used to drive me. My sister's 3 years older, so when I was a freshman, she was a
senior.
I think she must have been a senior. Because the second year, we took the bus. Like, the bus was just humiliating because you had no control. So, like, that transition of getting a car was huge because then you could choose when you went to I was going to say work, when you went to school, and then choose when you left, which meant that I made my schedule so that I would leave at, like, essentially, like, 1 o'clock.
Wait, you did the whole 8th period free or whatever?
Yeah. Slide
you
right
weren't
out.
supposed to be able to leave.
What did you... Of course.
No, I'm serious.
Everyone
Because Sperlin, he got a schedule similar where he had 6th, 7th, and 8th free. 6th lunch, 7th free, 8th free.
Yeah.
And he had to get permission from dean, principal, who the hell knows?
No, I don't ask
to leave,
permission.
like the building at like 12:30. He'd be like, "I have a new job." I was like, "That's crazy, dude. You going right to work?" He's like, "I lied. I don't have a job." And I was like, awesome.
I would have lied too.
Right, but he did so that he could leave at like noon,
dude,
on certain school days. So I wasn't sure.
Were you part of the breakfast club? We would go in early and just get breakfast.
Sometimes, I know.
I don't even know who was there. Like
Ryan.
Still asleep. Like, maybe
Ryan. Absolutely, Ryan was there.
Maybe Mike.
Yeah, Mike seems like he would be there. I was with Mike for 9/11.
You were holding hands?
No, I was walking with him. We left school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
They tried to track you down?
No, we walked to 7-Eleven.
Huh.
The one up the hill on,
yeah.
Was it Wood Grove or whatever?
The closest thing to a restaurant. I don't know that there are restaurants around there.
I don't know. Yeah, we had 3rd period free and 4th period lunch or something.
A lot of time to sit around in the cafeteria.
Yeah, who the hell is going to sit around and do nothing? So we walked to 7-Eleven.
Porn in the library.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to leave. We just left school. Yeah. And I still remember the funniest thing in the world was there was like a TV at 7-Eleven and like the first plane had crashed or whatever. And I was like, oh, dude, that's crazy. And he was like, that's nuts. and that was it. We like
Yeah.
got our food and like we ignored it. Like it's just one plane. Like that's plane crashes. There's weird stuff on the news all the time.
And the
By
second
the time we get back to school, like people were acting weird.
Yep.
Lockdown. Everyone had TVs on. Like no one was going between classes, and we were like, what? And they were like a second plane, and I was like, is that a coincidence? Like your first thought was like, that's a hell of a coincidence. I don't know.
I remember I was in math class, and there was.
Did you had Radman?
Yep, I did.
Did you?
He didn't like me at all.
He was a strange fella.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. You could tell he's a good guy, but just a little.
He didn't like me. Yeah. And I got demoted from AP Math or whatever down to Radman's. The story is.
Is it Trig or what?
No, Trig's easy. It was whatever the freshman one was. I sat next to Mike, and Mike asked me for a pen. That's what got me ejected. Like, he asked me for a pen, and I gave him a pen.
Mike.
And then I got one of these.
He did that all the time. That was really good.
Yeah, he had like a comb over that would just like wave in the air, and he'd go.
Yeah.
His comb over would move with his head in the opposite direction.
He marked you down day one. Ooh,
yeah. I think the problem was like he didn't speak. Like he just. I was in the back of the class. I was like, "Excuse me," and then Mike and I thought all of these they were like kind of quizzes, but like no one said they were quizzes. There's like challenges
type things, and they counted, which are great, didn't they?
They did. I think they did count.
I had Rad probably a year or two after you for crappier math. I was bad at math, but well, I wasn't bad at math. I was average at math.
Average.
It was goddamn.
Yeah.
Average.
He was really into it though. I'll give it to him for a teacher. As a teacher, Rad was pretty good. Same with the Roach. Roach was into it, but silent. Rad was into it, but really vocal.
Crazy teachers. We should just call this episode Shit Talk. Yeah, high school, you like that? We like them teachers? Come on, man. Come at us. A dozen years later, they came back and they laid down the biggest Smack album podcast of all time. Just us doing this on the cover of the podcast.
But if you think about life back then, it's like, yeah, hanging out with your friends. You got school like almost all the time. I had hockey, but like, I don't remember anything specific.
You did the coach.
Yeah,
Rumor has it that's the only reason you had the gig. I don't know.
The only reason that I was playing on the lowest team on the
on the lowest team. That's so awesome.
They didn't have enough teams. They had 4 teams, and there was enough for 5 teams.
For the record, Dan on the podcast here played on JVC.
Yeah,
the most stable team of all teams.
Yeah,
they made a JVC. Most schools don't have JVB.
Yeah. And my pops was the coach because he's like we have enough guys. He is good. He said I'm gonna coach this team so that, and we eventually won. We won like JVA.
Did you have Martin on your team? Martin G?
We did. He was completely spaced
awesome,
out.
Dude.
He'd wear him and McGilloway would wear like a poncho. Those two were like the biggest hippies known to man. Was Martin the one smoking in your car on the way to school?
No, it wasn't. But that's funny. He did smoke in my car at some point.
I guarantee it. He did it before the games, man.
Yo, he loves Zeppelin. Shout out.
No doubt. But Martin, yeah. I remember he win the most boneheaded plays, and we were in like the championship. And my dad was. Were
you in a game where he may or may not have humped a player on the ice and made moaning noises because he thought that was the funniest thing? He would do that in class. Anyway, sorry. What did he do?
Martin. So like we're having a championship game. Martin had made like really boneheaded plays the game before, and my dad's like, "We can't do that. There's no way we can do that. Where's Martin? Martin?" And then he like looks around the room. He's like, "Where is Martin?" And Martin like you're like a flush. And then like Martin walks in the room like, "Hey, coach." And you're just like, like, my dad's just like, there's nothing he could do.
He was he was in all my homerooms, so I had a couple other classes with him. Yeah, he would crack me up, dude. It's one of those people I didn't have anything else in common with Martin, or like friends with him. I didn't even hang out with him, but for some reason we made each other laugh. I had a certain religion class with a Padre Pio fanatic. and he would just whisper stuff at me behind my desk, and I would start laughing. It was one of those things where he was talking about the Nazis killing Jews, which I did not think was
I think
funny.
I've heard this before.
But Martin was like laughing at how he was like
Inappropriate.
no.
Continue.
Like,
Continue.
I
know. They were
He was
inappropriate.
like imitating both the Jew and the Nazi in his scenario. And he was like, "Look, I'm a Jew," and everyone in the quiet was all quiet. And he was like, "Look, I'm a Nazi," and he would go, "Pew!" They would shoot 8 of them to save bullets, and we weren't talking about World War II or anything, so like everyone was like quiet and weird, and Martin was like, and I started laughing because he laughed behind me.
He made you laugh because of his laughter.
He made me laugh, and then I'm laughing, and the teacher turned to me, but he was still in the Nazi voice. He was like, "What are you doing? Laughing?" But he was still like doing the Nazi impression, and I lost it further. And Martin behind me, he was full on laughing but covering his mouth.
He had a muffled laugh, yeah.
Right. And at this point now I'm laughing, and I was laughing, and he's like, "You think it's funny 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust?" And I was laughing, and I couldn't stop laughing. And he took his chalk and he threw it at the board. And he made some kind of Nazi noises, his fake Nazi noises. And he said, "It's okay. People don't understand." And he let me off the hook for whatever reason. But for the record.
But that was definitely etched in his mind. You know it. He remembered you as the kid who was laughing at.
I was just laughing because he was an awful actor. And Martin was laughing behind me. But that'll happen, folks. I'm the kid who laughed at the Holocaust.
That's a good way to start our Twitch podcast.
So that's me.
What else is there? Really?
It's probably a billion stories. But now we're talking about high school stories. Are we old?
I don't know. We remember them, so we're not. I mean, once you're too old to remember them, then you're old. You're really old.
No. Like, do you remember? Eric didn't want to go to communion because we all had to go. I had a big breakfast. Those jokes, like that kind of stuff. You remember that? Yeah.
I do remember all the stupid masses that none of us liked. They were worthless. You always tried to escape. But I remember talking about something and then like making it a pact, and like usually like 2 hands come together for the pact. I think it was definitely shit. What was his name? I already just blanked. Strawberry Fields.
Kid or adult?
Yeah, the Strawberry Fields. And I went in. Strawberry Fields' hand came in, and then someone else had their hand in there too. They made like a triple shake, and it was like perfect. Like it was. There's no way. Like I don't understand how 3 hands can come together.
You just got lucky.
Yeah.
Where all 3 were working.
Yeah. I don't know what the pact was, but it was like one of those defining moments, like people connecting on such a deep, emotional level, shaking hands.
Is it the first time you can physically and mentally? Like, is that when you're kind of developed all the way? I guess
So. Well,
because why else wouldn't it happen in 8th grade or something? Or why not wait till
Yeah, I guess it's the moment you become a kind of an adult. Like 18 is your legal adulthood, but honestly, it's probably 15 or 16.
Between 13 and 16.
Because you can screw around when you're 16, 17, and like you don't get it on your record.
The hell you want, right?
Yeah, if you're lucky, yeah, you can do pretty much anything.
You can.
Well,
we like you, folks.
We do. We like you a lot.
Tune in. We got a lot of socials. I mean, we'll be doing this again and again and again.
Yeah.
And again and again. We got the Unpanders. We got the Unpanders. We got the Unpander. Check our socials. Here. Check this guy.
Yep.
He'll check
over there.
me.
Yep.
We'll check this direction. And they'll check here.
We don't care if you check them.
Please don't.
I'll just specify that.
But, yeah, that sums it up.
Next time we're going to game. Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Good night.